You've been living and approaching life totally wrong. Now, I know, hear me out just for a second. If you feel the urge of just clicking away and going and watching another worthless cat video or some stupid crap, that's the exact reason why you're struggling with what you're struggling and what we're addressing here. Because you may ask yourself, why am I not happier? Why am I not more successful? Why am I not more wealthy, in better shape, feel better, just overall being a better version of myself and having a better life? Those thoughts may run through your head on a daily, hourly, or just weekly basis, and you just don't have an answer why. It's not a clear, this is the reason why. You don't really have a clear reason, and you ask yourself and you think through, why do I struggle so much doing what I said I was going to do, doing what I know I need to do, but I just can't ever get myself to do it? Or if I, by miracle, get myself to do that thing that I know is going to improve myself, improve my life, and it's just going to be something that I need to do, by miracle you're able to do that, you can't do it consistently. If you have any of those questions and those struggles, and you just kind of live in this fog of like, I don't know how to change, I don't know how to do things differently, then that's what we're covering in this video today. We're talking about a lot of things, but we're talking about the reason you struggle to change. You see, all of those things and more we're covering in today's video. We're talking about the reason you struggle with change and doing the right things and doing the things that you know you need to do. We're talking about how to make working and doing positive things that actually benefit your life addicting rather than just pissing your life away down a toilet. We're talking about how to truly act more, how to do more, but also want to do more, how to be fearless and act limitless. Because the reality is we're just these little small animals just running through life completely fearful and telling ourselves we suck all the time. If you think about your thoughts, you really do, right? We're also talking about our self-image, how to change our self-image to where we completely see the world in a completely different way. And we're talking about how to actually change your reality and what that shows up as and what that feels like living in this new reality. But before we go any further, I want to mention the way you live and the way you feel and how you think and how you act and your current life right now is not your fault. You see, from birth, we've all been conditioned and programmed by society to be a shell of what we are, to be living as just a limited, scared person with tons of doubt, lots of complete low self-confidence, and just not living our best life. We've been programmed this way, and today we're working to fix this. And of course, because I love you guys, down below is a free resource helping break this down and work through all this to help you guys actually change and actually make a difference in your life. And you see, for a prolonged period of time, I just struggled, Maybe you've been through this, but I struggled and I felt like I was just running around in the dark. I felt like I was just running in place. I was doing things but not getting results. I felt like I should be getting results, or I felt, I was just working and just trying to just figure life out. And I was just running in place, not really getting anywhere, right? All the while, there was this war just raging on inside my head. And it's the most frustrating thing is that you would think, and I'm going to make a video on this in the future, but you would think that your mind would be on the same page as you. Your mind would want you to have a great life as well as you do, but you guys, it's just like a constant battle going on up in your head where you're constantly, and where I was constantly fighting myself to do the things that I knew I needed to do, to get up on time, to, give full effort, to, that's a whole nother thing. It's like we don't give full effort in anything, right? Our default is just to half-ass it, right? I struggled to check things off the list and be consistent and do the things that I needed to do, and at the end of the day, it just wore me out. Just that constant battle of and the frustration of trying to do things differently and get myself to do stuff where it's easy. And I spent countless hours, guys, countless hours thinking and writing and brainstorming and speaking to myself in like the Apple voice memos. I literally have over 1,400 voice memos and countless pages just trying to work through my shit. Trying to work through how this world works, how this reality works, how this life works, how my self works, and trying to understand the thoughts and the processes in my mind of cracking why do I do the things that I do, and why do I do the things that I don't do, and why do I struggle so much with everything, and why do you struggle so much with everything, right? At the end of the day, just trying to understand one key, something that would allow me to have more control on my life, because a lot of the time it feels like I was just locked in a back seat, not really having any control over my life, and I was frustrated. I didn't know why. And in doing so, and all that reflection, those countless hours, I came across a few things, and I wanted to share these with you in hopes that it can help you as well, help you get out of this battle, win the battle of your mind. Because the biggest question I asked myself was, I knew I wanted to be a certain version of myself. I knew I wanted to have a certain life, But to do that, I knew I needed to change certain things about myself and my life. And I just couldn't understand, and this is a key thing here, is asking the simple question, why? Right? I was trying to understand why it was so freaking difficult to change, to do something different, to do things right. And what I came across was just profound. I was like, no freaking wonder it's hard to change, hard to do things different, hard to do things right. Because the thing is, every second and everything that we do and approach life as, every scenario, every action we do, we approach from the scope of negative, of doubt, of fear, of pain, of struggle. All we do is immediately switch to the negative, immediately start rehearsing in our head and having this self-talk about how we suck, how this is not going to go well, how it's going to be hard, how we're going to fail, how it's going to feel when we fail. And we're rehearsing all of these feelings, we're rehearsing all of this shit, and we're rehearsing how much it's going to suck. And you think, no wonder it's hard to change. You say, I want to get up and run every day. And your brain immediately goes to, wow, that's going to suck in the morning. Wow, that's going to be hard. Wow, that's your every day. We're going to have to run every day. Man, we're going to be really sore. That's not going to be very fun. We're going to get really tired. I'm going to feel a little dizzy. This is going to suck. Well, you can't do that. You're not good enough. And it's just this immediate, constant thought process and conversation going on in our head, and you wonder why you struggle doing the thing you want to do, changing the aspect about yourself that you want to change. You wonder why running every day is hard, because all you're doing is focusing on all the horrible stuff. No wonder you don't want to change. And I want you to imagine for a second it was the opposite. And this is something you train and you're aware of and you're conscious of. But imagine for a second it was the opposite. Imagine the first thought was positive, how great it's going to be. Assuming success, rehearsing the wins, rehearsing the success, assuming that success, that winning, feeling what it feels like, saying that we're amazing, we can do it, we can do anything. And this isn't just la la woo woo, oh yeah, I'm positive because I'm Captain Positive. It's not all this little bullshit of what you may think about, oh yeah, just be positive. It's not about that. And we're gonna cover that a little bit more in this video about about how positivity and the way you approach situations in life literally create your life. But can you see how incredibly powerful and how much easier it is to change when you just change when you shift that perspective? When you say, okay, we're going to run every day, and your first thought isn't negative, but it's positive, you go, wow, we're going to be freaking awesome. We're going to be shredded. We're going to be in such great shape when the zombies come. We're going to be able to survive. We're going to be able to win. We're going to be able to look good for other people, for myself. We're going to be able to look in the mirror and be proud and be able to feel that feeling. And that's the place in which you take action from. Can you see how that makes it so much easier to just change and do things that you know you want to do, know you need to do, but you just can't get yourself to do? It's because you're focusing on the wrong side of things. Because when you constantly live and have this positive conversation going on in your head, guess what happens? It allows you to make working, improving, doing hard things, running, building a business, working at your work, reading, learning, improving yourself, addicting, more fun, because all you have is this loop going on in your head of how awesome it's going to be, the results, what that feels like, what that looks like, what that's going to end up being like, what that's going to lead to, how awesome you're going to be as a person. You're going to be a fucking unit of a person. You're going to be a weapon. And eventually this starts to become default, where your default is to wanting to work. Your default is wanting to learn and improve. Your default is this positive rehearsal in your mind where you're constantly rehearsing success. You're assuming success. You're not assuming failure. The reason you have fear is because you assume failure in the first place. But the way we're making working addicting and just taking action and changing addicting is by rehearsing that success, by chasing the best version of ourselves that we can be in our best life possible, where every action that we take is how awesome can this be? How great can we build ourselves and our life into being? It's thinking at the end of your life, when you're on your deathbed, and being able to look back and be proud and excited about what you did, as you built your family name into a legacy that is now House fucking Taylor. It's not just, you built billions of dollars. You changed the world. You're known across the globe, and you just did something with your life because you were able to change and be able to hack reality to where you're always being able to, and wanting to, not having to, because that's another whole thing, is we go through life like we have to. Like it's an obligation, like it's something we gotta do. No, friends, life is a gift. Life is an opportunity. You don't have to do anything. If you don't want to do life, you can choose not to do life. But when you choose to do life and see it as a gift and opportunity and being able to see it from this lens, you're always wanting to chase more, do more, take more actions to live your best life, to improve, to have the best life possible. But you may be thinking, when I'm doing these actions, I focus on the positive, I rehearse that success, I act from from a place of gain, of accomplishment, of success. I'm rehearsing that, I'm feeling it. But when it comes to the actual actions, I hold myself back. I don't give it all. I'm fearless. I limit myself. So you may be thinking, okay, Rhett, we have this more positive mindset, but when it comes to the actual actions I'm taking, I'm just fearful, right? I just maybe don't give my full effort. And I want to address that and help you overcome that to where it's more natural to be fearless, where it's more natural to be limitless, where it's more natural to give your full effort. And it really comes down to your beliefs and, again, that self-talk, because everything's your mind, guys. Everything's your mind. And it comes down to that belief and that self-talk. Because how you act and how you think and the beliefs that you have is what you attract. Your default story and conversation going on in your head is what you attract. How you consistently think and act is what you attract. And you're like, okay, right, you just said attract like 20 times. What does that mean? Like, what do you mean it's attracting? This is mainstream quantum physics, and I'll link some stuff down in that resource document down below to help make this a little bit clearer. But everything, this is not woo-woo, this is mainstream quantum physics. Everything is energy. And our brain, it's just bits of data. All of this is not real. It's just bits of data. And the only reason this remote is a remote and not just this bit of data and energy and nothingness is because our brain processes that information by itself and turns it into this remote so we can comprehend it, so we can live. So we're not going through our daily life just completely mind blown and not being able to operate. It does this all by itself on the back end and essentially creates this remote. And so what does that have to do with anything? Well, what that has to do with anything is understanding that everything is energy and you're going to attract what you put out. And you may be like, Rhett, okay, that still doesn't make sense. And I probably shouldn't. So let me explain it this way. Your brain, above all else, desires accuracy. And in order to be accurate, it's going to attract more of what you tell yourself, of what you believe, of what you think, of what you tell yourself and have this conversation going on in your head. And you may be like, right, okay, well, what does being accurate mean? Well, it means that your brain has two goals, right? Survive, don't die, and reproduce. And so if your brain has certain beliefs that are wrong, that are not accurate, it could cause you to die. For example, the Yellowstone National Park, right? It's got those big geysers. And those big geysers are actually boiling in temperature. But there's certain, not ingredients, but certain substances in there that essentially make it so it doesn't boil. But what if our brain had a belief and had a thought and had a conversation going in our head that said, that's not boiling. It looks really cold and cool and nice. Let's go jump in. Boom, dead, boiling, game over, right? That would be a representation of your brain not being accurate. And when your brain is not accurate, you die. And your brain doesn't care about all these little things. All it cares is about that, accuracy. So what it's saying is, okay, if we're going to be accurate, we're going to, accuracy has to do with beliefs. We have certain beliefs. And so essentially, when we believe something, because a belief is tied to being accurate, if we believe something, we need to be accurate about it in order to survive. So if we need to be accurate about a belief, what we're going to do is we're going to attract scenarios into our life that confirm and validate that belief because we need to be accurate. And again, accuracy is just, it's a yes or no. It's like your brain's going to do anything to be accurate, period, end of story. And so what we think, what we rehearse, what we put out there, what we believe, is therefore our brain is going to go out into the universe and attract more of that for the selfish reason of being accurate, because being accurate equals survival. So that is what that means when what you think and believe is what you attract, because that ties into your brain needing to be accurate, and so therefore it's going to go out there and attract more of that to validate that belief and make itself accurate. And the crazy thing is, when it comes to every scenario that we approach, everything that we do, we come at it from the wrong angle. Look at everything you've done today. You have most likely approached every scenario, and that's an amazing exercise, is to ask yourself and look at how you approach certain things. But you approached everything playing not to lose, being filled with doubt, playing with your brakes on, living in fear, living in just constant states of doubt and fear and playing not to lose. And those are the feelings, those are the beliefs, that's the energy that you have, and therefore that's what you're going to attract more of. You're going to attract more things to help you lose, to confirm the doubt that you have, to confirm the fear that you have. Can you understand why that's so deadly? Your feelings, your beliefs, your thoughts, how you act essentially attracts more of that because your brain needs to be accurate. It needs to validate those beliefs in order to be accurate, so therefore it goes out and attracts more situations to confirm that belief so it's accurate. When you're constantly in fear, your brain understands that is a certain feeling that you have, and it's going to go out and attract more situations that validate that fear, that cause that fear, to make that fear that you're feeling make sense and be accurate, because all your brain cares about is being accurate, because that leads to survival. It doesn't know that you're not going to die from the wind rustling a bush, but all it knows is the fear, and so therefore it's going to go out and attract more things like that. And so you may ask, okay, I'm probably playing not to lose all the time, and that leads into the idea of, why do winners just win? Why are they always winning and succeeding versus some people that just seem to just get kicked in the balls every day and just don't ever get anything going for them? It's this example, it's this difference, is the winners are always focused on winning. They're focused on, succeeding. They're assuming success. They're feeling success. They're rehearsing success. They're believing in themselves. They have a positive conversation going on in their head. They're fearless. They don't have doubt. They just act and they play to win. And those feelings and those thoughts and those beliefs attract more situations that confirm those feelings, because your brain needs to be accurate. So how you think and believe and act attracts more of those situations. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Whatever you think, feel, and believe and act is what your brain's going to go out and create more situations like that to validate that belief. And so you can choose to be positive and therefore attract more wins, more success, more momentum. Or you can choose to be negative and attract more shit and just say, I just can't catch a break. Oh, today's going to suck. Oh, this, oh, that. Well, those feelings, your brain's going to attract more scenarios in your life that validate and confirm those feelings. But when you wake up every day and go, man, it's a great day to have a great day. That's my new favorite phrase. And you feel that, and you go, man, I just can't wait to win today, and just assuming success in everything you do, your brain's going to go out and be like, oh, okay, those are his beliefs, so we're going to go out and attract more wins, attract more great days to validate those beliefs. And you're going to probably need to watch this a couple times, because this is dense, this is deep, this is big brain shit right here, all right? But a question you might be having is, how do I actually shift my focus from the negative to the positive? Well, it starts with just being aware. It starts with being aware of your thoughts, and that takes a little bit of training. And you get a little bit better and a little bit better, just like everything, but it starts with that awareness. When you think of, I've got to do X, you've got to notice your brain immediately goes to fear, goes to doubt, goes to telling yourself how it's going to suck and how you're going to fail. You have to notice that. You have to shift it and just incinerate those thoughts and replace them with, no, screw that, this is going to be awesome. We're going to succeed, and this is how it's going to feel when we succeed, and we're going to do amazing. It's going to feel great, and that's what you have to just be aware and make that shift over a long enough time where it becomes default, where your normal thing is just positivity. Another question you might have is like, isn't it just kind of unrealistic to just ignore potential problems and just be positive all the time? And most people would say, yeah, I mean, that sounds dumb. And it's like the idea of, I have a couple tweets I'll put up here, but I say, nothing's hard for me. Everything I do is easy. And people say, oh, well, you're obviously not challenging yourself. You're obviously not trying because things should be hard. And I disagree with that completely because, again, your beliefs is what creates reality. You going into a scenario saying, oh, this is going to be hard, this is going to be tough, this is going to be incredibly difficult, is what creates that reality. That's what people don't understand, is you saying it's going to be hard, you focusing on the negative shit, is what actually makes it hard. The thing being, quote, hard doesn't make it hard. The thing being hard isn't what comes in your mind and goes, oh, well, that's going to be hard. The reason it's hard is because you make it hard in your mind. You start in your mind first, rehearsing and saying, this is going to be hard, this is going to be difficult. And that is the reason it is hard and difficult, because once again, going back to it, your brain desires to be accurate. So it's going to go out and create situations that confirm that belief so it is accurate, so you survive. And you know how I mentioned how we're playing life? Playing to win versus not to lose? The reality is I've done this, and I still struggle with this a bit, but we're all playing not to lose. We're all playing and approaching every scenario and every situation, everything with fear, doubt, assuming failure, and rehearsing that failure and what that feels. And like we talked about, when you live your life like that, you attract more scenarios that are going to confirm those beliefs. And of course, at this point, you probably have some questions. You probably have some limiting beliefs. Once again, I want to remind you that there's a free Notion database resource for you that's going to address some of this to help you kind of push through this and make some more sense on this, on all of this. And of course, this is stuff you're going to have to work on. This is not something you just watch this video, go, okay, cool, we're good. I've got reality. That's not how this shit works, right? So make sure to click that link below in the description. You'll be able to get access to that, as well as a free monthly newsletter that I do, or a free weekly newsletter that I do, to basically show you how to do better and just be better in life, right? And really all of this ties into the idea of one phrase, your self-image. It's about changing your worldview. So I'll put a couple quotes up here, and it's just like Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. It's just like my tweet up here that I said, basically, it's just, you decide who you are. If you say and act like you're confident, you're going to be confident. If you say and act like you're wealthy, you're going to be wealthy. How you say, act, and believe and talk about yourself is what turns into reality. It goes back to the whole concept, my friends, of your brain needs to be accurate. You create your reality. Because everything, this entire universe, is simply a projection of our internal thoughts. Our internal thoughts is what projects and creates reality, because our brain is constantly attracting and creating stuff based on our beliefs and our thoughts and the things that we say to ourselves, which is up in here. It all stems from the idea of your self-image. And this self-image is going to be how you approach everything in life, how you approach every scenario. And this is such a big hack. It's how you view yourself. And how you view yourself is that you should be yourself, because it's 100% true, is that number one, you're a god. And number two, you're limitless. And you may be like, oh, a god, okay, that's just cocky, that's whatever you want to say. Shut up. Because the reality is, it's just like the Bible says. We were created in God's image. God's image. God is big G God, we're little g gods. We are created in his image. Therefore, we are limitless. Therefore, we can create. Therefore, we are all powerful. And everything in reality that we are experiencing, we are creating. And you may have trouble believing that. And I challenge you with, okay, what benefit is not believing that? What benefit is believing that, oh, I'm limited, oh, I can't do much, oh, I kind of suck? Because once again, all those beliefs is what attracts that, makes it true. So, yeah, you're going to be true, just like Henry Ford says. Whatever you believe is true. It doesn't matter, because it's going to be true for you. So what truth do you want? What reality do you want? What life do you want? Your dream life or some shit life? Because the reality is, the fact that we are limitless, that we are gods, that anything and everything is possible, my friends. Yet we constantly limit ourselves. We constantly tell ourselves we suck. We constantly self-sabotage. We constantly are telling ourselves all kinds of negative things that do not help. We're a god, we're limitless, and yet we just constantly put caps on who we are, who we can be. We're constantly telling ourselves we can't do that. When someone has done something, we immediately go into our mind and go, oh, we can't do that. I can't do that. He did that, but I can't do that. If someone has, therefore you can. And even if someone hasn't, you still freaking can. Because you're a god. You're limitless. You were created in God's image. God's image is a God that is all-powerful, all-being, all-creating, can do anything and be anything. Do you think God has doubt? You think God, rehearses failure? Do you think, God assumes he's going to fail? Do you think God has doubt and says he can't do things? Of course not. Then why do you? There's many differences between big G God and us, but one main difference between us is God can snap his finger and create things like that. For us, it takes some time. There's a buffer period. And of course, it makes sense. If we just snapped reality based on our thoughts, it would be mayhem. It would be a horrible, just shit crazy world if we immediately created what we thought. It would be terrible. And that's why there's a buffer. But that doesn't mean we can't create anything and everything that we think of and that we want. And what you have to realize is the only reason you play defense instead of offense always is because you're assuming you're going to fail. You're assuming you're going to lose. What if you couldn't lose? What if you couldn't fail? You would always just attack. You would always go. You would always press. You would always do all that you could. And you're going to come at me with, oh, Rhett, we do fail. I do fail. I do lose. Okay, well, that's the meaning you assign to it. Failure is just, what is failure? Can you pick up failure? Can you pick up loss? No, you can't. It's not real. It's just some definition that we assign to something along with a feeling that we connect to it. Failure is not a real thing. It's something we generated in our mind. And so we're basically letting something run our life that's not even real. Because at the end of the day, playing from a place of fear, of doubt, of loss, of failure is capping our inherent fucking power. Because once again, we're gods. We're limitless. We are all powerful. We create the reality that we perceive, yet we just choose to have small goals. We choose to assume failure. We choose to play small. We choose to rehearse all the negative stuff and have this negative just cesspool going on in our mind. And you wonder again why you don't succeed, why your life doesn't change, why you don't change, why things are hard to fucking do. Because you're constantly attracting this, rehearsing this, playing not to lose. Because what if you played life the opposite way? What if you just assumed success? What if you played life to win and be all you can be and grow and build and succeed and just crush life and be the best version of yourself that you can be and build the best life that you could possibly have? What if you lived like that? What is that feeling? What does that look like? Yet everyone else just plays not to lose, plays to get through life. Not to live life, not to maximize life. They're constantly just assuming failure in everything, constantly putting limits on ourselves and everything that we do in this reality. It's ridiculous. We are all powerful, limitless gods that can do anything, and yet we're just constantly capping ourselves. And the way you change this is to change your default state. And the way you change your default state being what's just normal, what's natural for you, is just a constant iteration, a constant switch, a constant incineration of those negative thoughts to slowly move into this new state where, like I said, it starts with becoming aware. Right? It's becoming and having a default state where your default state is to attack or to conquer, to win, to succeed, to grab, to take, to just live and be all that you can be and just fuck this world up because there's no reason you can't. There's no reason you can't be something or do something. It's this open canvas for you to create because once again, you're limitless. You're a God. And we're all made in God's image. The only thing holding us back is ourselves. And at the end of the day, it's not your fault. You've been conditioned by society to think you're weak, you're broken, you're dumb, you're poor, you're stupid, and just all of that shit. You've been conditioned to not believe that you're limitless, that you're a creator, that you're a designer. Because God, can you imagine with the big people, the people pulling the strings of the world would do if every person knew they had no limits, knew they could do and be anything? It'd be mayhem for them. They wouldn't be able to control anybody. So they're going to set up media and social media and news and all kinds of stuff to make you think that you're dumb, you're broken. You have no power. You are not a God. You are limitless. You suck. You should be filled with fear and doubt all the time. And the thing that must happen is you must change. Because it's changing that mindset shift and how you approach everything. Approaching everything from a state of and self-identity of that you are limitless, that you are spiritual, all-powerful, God-like, a God yourself that literally, quite literally creates the fabric of your literal reality in front of your eyes. It's taking that self-image and approaching every scenario and situation from that point. Because again, everything that you have ever seen and experienced has been created by your mind. It goes back to this remote. Everything's just data and energy. Your mind creates it based on your thoughts. Going back to accuracy. Your internal creates your external. When you change your self-image, you change how you approach different scenarios. The conversation going on in your head. And then therefore, your entire reality changes. That's the fun thing, being able to approach every day with full energy. You choose your energy from a state of full energy and success and going and blowing and going based on being a God, being limitless, being a designer, being a creator, taking action from a place of this, of limitless, that you can't lose, that you don't have doubt, that you just rehearse success always. Feeling like a God and knowing that anything and everything is possible, my friends. You're the one that's in your way. You're the one that says you can't do it. You're the one that holds you back. It's this mindset and vibration of being a winner and choosing who you want to be and the reality that you want to have. And whatever you think and believe and rehearse in your mind and act is what you're going to attract more of. So choose your life. Choose who you want to be. Choose what you want to attract and focus on that and live like that. Live and remember that you're a God and you're going to attract more of that and that exactly into your life. And because when you live like this, guess what happens? It's very cool. You take action more. You take action faster. You take action more furiously, more ruthlessly. You pop out and springboard out of bed full of energy because you're ready to fucking conquer the world, conquer each day. Instead of wanting to sleep in and be scared and not want to get out of bed because you're just so overwhelmed with anxiety. Because you choose your life. You choose how you feel. You can choose to be this way. You can choose to be that way. But at the end of the day, I have some bad news for you here. While you may have hopefully gotten a whole new perspective on life and how to view yourself and a new self-identity and a lot to work with, you really have a gun without bullets here. If you don't understand truly how to actually change. And you can learn this in two ways. You can learn step by step by clicking the video right here, or down to my free newsletter below. You can get access to that for free, as well as don't forget the resource section. I hope this helped. Let me know any comments down below. Make sure to leave some mean ones, and I'll see you next time.